The alarms blared through the emergency room as Zara gripped the defibrillator paddles, her heart pounding not just from the code blue, but from the way Bella's hand brushed hers in the chaos of the night shift. What should have been a routine save turned into the moment their carefully guarded secret. Their deep unspoken lesbian love cracked open when a junior nurse walked in on them sharing a desperate affirming embrace in the break room, forcing the entire department to question everything they thought they knew about the two rival doctors. Zara Thompson, 32 years old, chief trauma surgeon at St. Mary's Medical Center in Chicago, pulled back instantly, her dark eyes flashing with a mix of panic and calculation. The patient stabilized, but the damage was done. Bella Ramirez, the 30-year-old cardiologist with her blonde hair pulled into a tight ponytail, stood frozen beside her, the faint scent of antiseptic and adrenaline still clinging to their white coats. They had been together in secret for 2 years, stealing moments between shifts, careful never to let the walls of the hospital see what burned between them. But tonight the flood of trauma cases from a multi-car pileup on the Dan Ryan Expressway had worn them down. In that brief second of relief when the monitors beeped steady, Zara had reached for Bella's hand and Bella had let her. Now Nurse Emily Harper stood in the doorway, clipboard trembling in her grip, her mouth open in silent shock. "Dr. Thompson. Dr. Ramirez. I was just... the charts," she stammered before backing out. The door clicked shut, but the echo of what she had seen would travel faster than any code announcement. Zara turned to Bella, her voice low and sharp. "We deny everything." It was exhaustion. A hug between colleagues after saving a life. Nothing more. Bella nodded, but her green eyes betrayed the storm inside. They both knew the stakes. The hospital board was weeks away from naming the new head of trauma and research, a position that came with national grant speaking tours and the kind of power that could define a career. Both women were finalists. Both had clawed their way up through residency rivalries and late-night studies. Public knowledge of their relationship would paint them as unprofessional at best and a liability at worst in an institution still whispering about family values in the executive suites. By the time the night shift ended, the rumor had already spread through the nurses' station like a virus. Whispers followed Zara down the hallway. Side glances from the residents. Even the janitor seemed to pause a second longer when he passed Bella in the elevator. Zara locked herself in her office, scrolling through patient files, pretending to work while her mind raced through damage control. She had always been the colder one, the strategist who weighed every move like a scalpel cut. Bella was the heart, the one who stayed late with families, the one who had whispered, "I love you," first in a darkened on-call room 6 months ago. But love didn't pay for the new wing of the research lab or secure the corner office with the city view. The next morning the department meeting felt like a tribunal. Dr. Harlan, the gray-haired chief of staff, cleared his throat and announced the night's success rates, but his eyes kept drifting to Zara and Bella seated at opposite ends of the long table. "Outstanding teamwork under pressure." He said the words heavy with implication. Emily Harper sat 3 chairs down, avoiding eye contact. Zara felt the weight of every unspoken question. She had spent the pre-dawn hours drafting emails to the board, subtly reminding them of her solo publications and leadership in the last mass casualty drill. Bella had done the same, but her message carried a softer tone, emphasizing team morale. Now that softness looked like weakness. In the cafeteria line, Bella caught Zara's sleeve. "We need to talk. Privately." Zara shook her head once sharp. "Not here. Not now. We act normal. We win the promotion. Then we decide." Bella's hand fell away, the hurt flickering across her face before she masked it with a professional smile for the passing interns. Zara walked away knowing she had drawn the first line in the sand. Survival demanded it. That afternoon the first official ripple hit. An anonymous note appeared in both their mailboxes, typed on hospital letterhead. "The board is watching. Professional boundaries matter." No signature. Zara burned it in the sink of the staff lounge. Bella kept hers, folding it into her scrub pocket like a talisman. The competition had always been fierce, but now it was personal. Every chart review, every case consultation carried double meaning. When Zara recommended a risky procedure for a VIP patient, Bella countered with data from a recent study, her voice steady but her eyes pleading for Zara to see the warning. They were no longer just lovers or colleagues. They were opponents in a game where the prize was everything and the penalty for losing was public humiliation. By evening the tension had seeped into their work. A routine consult turned icy when Bella questioned Zara's dosage in front of the resident team. Zara shot back with statistics, her tone clipped. The residents exchanged glances. The secret was no longer hidden. It was a live wire running through the entire cardiac trauma wing. Zara sat alone in her car after shift, staring at the rain streaking the windshield. She loved Bella with a ferocity that scared her, but love had never built a career. Ambition had. She texted Bella 3 words, "Stay strong tonight," then deleted the message before sending. The following days blurred into strategy sessions and sleepless calculations. Zara pulled extra shifts, volunteering for the toughest cases, building alliances with the board members who valued results over gossip. Bella focused on patient outcomes, publishing a quick case study on the night shift saves, hoping the positive press would overshadow the whispers. But the hospital rumor mill had its own momentum. In the locker room, nurses speculated openly. In the parking garage, residents placed quiet bets on who would crack first. Zara watched it all with clinical detachment, planning her next move like a chess grandmaster. Bella felt every stare like a scalpel. Then came the board's first inquiry. A polite email requesting a meeting with both doctors to discuss team dynamics. Zara read it twice, her pulse steady. This was the moment. She replied immediately, accepting for both of them, and CCing Bella with a single line, "We handle this together. Professionally." Bella's reply came an hour later, "Always." But Zara knew the word carried layers now. Together had once meant whispered promises in the dark. Now it meant survival at any cost. The meeting loomed 3 days away. Zara spent the time reviewing every policy on fraternization, every precedent case. She prepared statements that painted their closeness as mentorship, nothing more. Bella prepared her own version, emphasizing mutual respect. Neither shared their drafts. The distance between them grew with every careful word unspoken. In the quiet hours, Zara allowed herself one moment of doubt, remembering the way Bella's laugh had once filled the on-call room with light. Then she locked it away. The promotion was within reach. The kiss on night shift had been a mistake, but mistakes could be managed. Careers could not. As the city lights flickered outside her apartment window, Zara poured a single glass of whiskey and raised it to the empty room. "To winning," she whispered. Across town, Bella stared at the same skyline, tears tracing silent paths down her cheeks. The night shift had changed everything, and neither woman knew yet how far the consequences would reach. The boardroom smelled of polished oak and fresh coffee, the kind of neutral scent meant to disguise tension. Zara sat with her spine straight, her dark hair pinned back in a severe style that screamed competence. Bella beside her looked composed, but the slight tremor in her fingers as she opened her folder betrayed the storm beneath. Dr. Harlan and 3 other board members watched them like hawks. "We've received reports of an incident during the recent night shift," Harlan began without preamble. "Concerns about professional boundaries." Zara spoke first, her voice calm and measured. It was a moment of relief after a successful resuscitation. A colleague's embrace, nothing more. The demands of trauma care sometimes require emotional support. She slid a printed summary of the case across the table, complete with timestamps and outcomes. Bella nodded, adding, "Our focus remained entirely on the patient. Any perception otherwise is unfortunate, but understandable given the stress." Her words were perfect, professional. Yet Zara heard the crack in them, the way Bella's gaze lingered a fraction too long on her hands. The board members exchanged glances. One older woman tapped her pen. "We value dedication, but optics matter, especially with the head of trauma position under consideration. We expect absolute clarity moving forward." The meeting ended with a warning, not a verdict, but the air felt heavier when they left. Outside in the corridor, Bella turned to Zara, her voice a fierce whisper. "We almost lost everything in there. We can't keep pretending this is just about work." Zara glanced down the hall, ensuring they were alone. "Pretending is the only way we survive. The board is split 3-2 in my favor right now. One more slip and it's over for both of us." Bella stepped closer, her eyes searching. "And what about us? The real us?" Zara's jaw tightened. "The real us waits until after the announcement. Until we are safe." She walked away before Bella could answer, the click of her heels echoing like a countdown. That night, Zara reviewed the hospital bylaws again, highlighting clauses on conflicts of interest. Bella sat in her apartment, scrolling through old photos on her phone, pictures of stolen weekends in Wisconsin cabins where no one knew their names. She deleted none, but the ache grew. The department felt the shift immediately. Residents chose sides subtly. Some gravitated to Zara's decisive style, others to Bella's compassionate approach. Nurse Emily avoided both women, but her reports to the charge nurse grew more detailed. Zara noticed and adjusted her strategy. She began mentoring a promising young surgeon, publicly praising his work while quietly feeding him insights that aligned with her vision for the department. Bella countered by leading a new wellness initiative for night staff, framing it as team building. But everyone understood the subtext. 2 weeks passed in this cold war of smiles and statistics. The fateful night shift became legend, whispered during breaks. Did you hear they were? The sentence never finished, but the implication hung thick. Zara's patient outcomes remained flawless, her publications cited in grand rounds. Bella's research grant proposal gained traction with external reviewers. The board watched both metrics and the unspoken third metric, discretion. Then came the complication neither had anticipated. A high-profile donor, the wife of a state senator, arrived in the ER with chest pain. Zara and Bella were both called in. The case required perfect coordination. For 3 hours they moved in sync, calling orders, adjusting medications, their voices blending in the familiar rhythm that had once felt like dancing. The patient stabilized. The senator arrived in tears, shaking both their hands. "You saved her." "Together," he said loudly enough for the entire wing to hear. The word "together" landed like a grenade. Back in the lounge, Bella exhaled. "That could help us." Zara shook her head. "Or bury us. The board will see collaboration. The rumor mill will see confirmation." She was right. By morning, an internal memo circulated reminding all staff of the fraternization policy. No names, but the timing was unmistakable. Zara spent her lunch hour in the records room pulling old cases, building an irrefutable portfolio of independent leadership. Bella met with the hospital's diversity officer, framing their situation as a potential case study in modern medical relationships, but the officer advised caution. The culture here is changing, but not fast enough for the board. That evening, Zara found Bella waiting by her car in the parking garage. Rain drummed on the concrete. "We need to decide," Bella said, her voice steady despite the downpour soaking her coat. "Either we fight for the promotion together, or we walk away from this place and start over somewhere no one knows us." Zara stared at her, the water blurring the lines between them. "Walking away means losing everything we've built. The research, the influence, the lives we can save." Bella stepped closer. "And staying means losing each other." Zara reached out, then stopped, her hand hovering. "I choose both. We win first. Then we figure out the rest." She got in her car and drove away, watching Bella's figure shrink in the rearview mirror. The decision felt surgical, clean, and necessary. But in the quiet of her apartment, the scalpel cut both ways. The next board update arrived via email. Final interviews scheduled for the following week. Each candidate would present a 5-year vision for the department. Zara spent the weekend crafting hers, emphasizing innovation metrics and streamlined protocols. Bella focused on patient-centered care and staff retention. Neither mentioned the other in their slides. The distance had become their armor. Yet the hospital never slept. During a quiet afternoon shift, a code blue pulled them together again. This time they worked without words, their movements precise. When the patient survived, the team applauded, but the applause felt tainted. Later in the supply closet, Bella cornered her. "I can't keep doing this. The pretending is killing me faster than any rumor." Zara's response was cold. "Then step back from the promotion. Let me take it. I'll protect you from the fallout." The words hung between them like a verdict. Bella's face paled. "You would ask me to do that?" Zara didn't blink. "I would do it for you if the roles were reversed." She left Bella standing among the shelves of gauze and saline, the echo of her footsteps the only answer. Ambition had drawn the line. Love would have to wait on the other side. The final interview day dawned gray and unforgiving. Zara arrived at the boardroom in a tailored navy suit, her presentation memorized down to the pauses. Bella entered 5 minutes later in charcoal gray, her blonde hair swept into an elegant twist. They nodded professionally, no more. The board members sat in a semicircle, tablets glowing with notes. Harlan spoke first. "Dr. Thompson, your vision, please." Zara delivered a masterclass in precision. Slides clicked forward showing projected grant increases, reduced mortality rates, strategic partnerships with university labs. She cited her own publications, highlighted her leadership during the night shift crisis, without mentioning Bella by name. The board leaned forward, impressed by the numbers, the confidence. When she finished, polite applause rippled. Then Bella rose. Her presentation was warmer, data woven with stories of patients saved through empathy. She spoke of building a department where doctors could thrive without sacrificing their humanity. The board listened, but their eyes kept drifting to Zara's metrics. Afterward in the hallway, Zara caught Bella's arm briefly. "You did well." Bella pulled away gently. "Well enough to lose gracefully?" The question stung, but Zara kept her face neutral. "This isn't personal." Bella laughed softly, bitter. "Everything about us is personal." They parted, then each returning to their offices to wait for the verdict. The board deliberated for 3 days. During that time the hospital buzzed with speculation. Residents placed bets in the cafeteria. Nurses traded theories in the break room. Zara used the time to solidify alliances, sending strategic emails, thanking key influencers for their support. Bella spent hers with patients, reading charts late into the night, as if the work itself could shield her. On the third evening the email arrived simultaneously. "The board has reached a decision. Please join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. That night Zara couldn't sleep. She stood at her window overlooking Lake Michigan, the city lights reflecting like scattered diamonds. She thought of Bella's laugh, the way her hand fit perfectly in hers during those stolen nights. Then she thought of the corner office, the research budget, the platform to change trauma care nationwide. The choice felt clearer in the dark. Morning brought rain. Zara and Bella arrived separately, taking seats across from each other in the boardroom. Harlan stood. "After careful consideration, the position of head of trauma and research goes to Dr. Zara Thompson." The room offered congratulations. Bella smiled, the expression flawless, professional. Inside she felt the fracture widen. Zara shook hands, accepted the plaque, her voice steady as she thanked the board. But when their eyes met across the table, Bella's held a question Zara refused to answer. The celebration in the department was muted. Cake appeared in the lounge, but the toasts felt forced. "To new leadership," someone said. Zara raised her plastic cup, scanning the room for Bella. She was gone. Later Zara found her in the on-call room, folding scrubs with mechanical precision. "Congratulations," Bella said without turning. "You earned it." Zara closed the door. "We both earned it. This doesn't change us." Bella finally faced her. "It already has. You chose the title over me in front of everyone." The argument that followed was quiet, fierce. Words like betrayal and sacrifice cut deeper than any scalpel. Bella accused Zara of cold calculation. Zara countered that survival required sacrifice. In the end, Bella whispered, "I can't compete with your ambition." She walked out, leaving Zara alone with the weight of victory. The weeks after the announcement brought changes. Zara moved into the corner office, her nameplate gleaming. Budget approvals flew through her desk. But the whispers didn't stop. If anything, they grew sharper. "She stepped on her girlfriend to get there," became the new refrain. Zara buried herself in work, launching new protocols, training residents, mentoring with iron focus. Bella requested a transfer to the night rotation, reducing overlap. Their paths crossed only in emergencies, now clinical and distant. Yet the hospital had a long memory. During a joint case review, the new chief resident referenced the night shift incident openly. "Some teams work better when boundaries are clear," he said, eyes on Zara. She shut it down with data, but the damage lingered. Bella watched from the back of the room, her expression unreadable. Later in the parking garage, Bella approached once more. "The board is watching you now too. One misstep and they'll reconsider." Zara's reply was clipped. "Then I won't misstep." The distance became routine. Zara excelled in her new role, publishing papers, securing grants. Bella threw herself into patient care, earning quiet respect from the night staff. But the love that had once fueled them now felt like a ghost haunting the hallways. Zara found herself replaying the fateful night shift, wondering if a different choice could have saved them both. Bella wondered the same, but her answer always circled back to the same truth: ambition had won. Then came the new crisis. A multi-vehicle accident involving a school bus brought chaos to the ER. Zara and Bella were both called in despite the transfer. For 6 hours they worked side by side, saving children, calling orders in perfect sync. In the eye of the storm their old rhythm returned. When the last patient stabilized, Bella looked at Zara across the gurney, her eyes soft for the first time in weeks. "We still make a hell of a team." Zara nodded, the moment fragile. But as they stepped into the hallway the chief resident approached. "Dr. Thompson, the board wants to see you." Now. Zara's stomach tightened. She followed him, leaving Bella behind. The board had received an anonymous complaint. Evidence of inappropriate conduct during the recent crisis. Security footage from the supply closet the night of the first incident had surfaced. Zara sat stunned as they played the clip. The brief embrace, the almost kiss. Harlan's voice was grave. "This puts the entire department under scrutiny. We may need to revisit your appointment." Zara left the meeting numb. She found Bella in the lounge. "They have the footage." Bella's face drained of color. "Then it's over." Zara shook her head. "Not if we fight. We deny. We spin it as exhaustion." Bella stared at her for a long moment. "Or we tell the truth. We resign together and walk away with our dignity." Zara's laugh was hollow. "Dignity doesn't fund research. Dignity doesn't save lives." The choice hung between them again, heavier than before. Outside the rain had stopped, but the storm inside had only begun. The security footage played on loop in Zara's mind, the grainy image of two white coats leaning close, the moment of vulnerability captured forever. She sat in her new corner office staring at the city skyline, the plaque on her desk suddenly feeling like a taunt. The board had given her 48 hours to respond before they made any public statement. 48 hours to decide whether to protect her career or protect Bella. She called Bella to the office after hours, the door locked, the blinds drawn. Bella arrived still in scrubs, her blonde hair loose for once. "We have to coordinate our stories," Zara said, sliding a prepared statement across the desk. Bella read it once, then pushed it back. "This makes me sound like the emotional one who needed comfort. It paints you as the steady leader." Again. Zara leaned forward. "It's the version that saves both of us. The board wants a clean narrative, not a scandal." Bella stood pacing the length of the office. "And what about the truth, Zara? 2 years of stolen moments of love that made the long shifts bearable. Does any of that matter?" Zara's voice remained clinical. "Right now the truth is a liability. We can rebuild later when the spotlight fades." Bella stopped in front of the desk, her eyes fierce. "Later never comes for people like us. Not in this hospital. Not with you always choosing the next promotion." The argument escalated in hushed tones. Bella accused Zara of using their relationship as a stepping stone. Zara countered that Bella had always known the cost of ambition in medicine. In the end, Bella picked up the statement and tore it in half. "I won't sign this. I won't lie about who we are." She left the office door clicking shut like a final suture. Zara stared at the torn paper, the pieces symbolic of everything fracturing. The next day the board summoned them separately. Zara delivered her version calm and convincing. Bella delivered hers simple and honest. "We are in love. The night shift was exhausting and human. Our work has never suffered." The board members shifted uncomfortably. One asked, "Does this affect your ability to lead?" Bella answered without hesitation. "It makes me more compassionate. It makes me fight harder for every patient." The meeting ended with no immediate decision, but the atmosphere had shifted. Back in the department the news spread like wildfire. Colleagues who had whispered now stared openly. Some offered quiet support, others distanced themselves. Nurse Emily approached Bella in the hallway. "I'm sorry I walked in that night. I never meant for this." Bella smiled sadly. "You didn't do anything wrong. The system did." Zara watched the interactions from afar, her new role suddenly feeling hollow. She threw herself into a complex surgery, a 12-hour marathon that left her exhausted but victorious. The patient survived against all odds. The department cheered, but the applause rang empty. That night she found Bella on the hospital roof, the city lights spread below like a promise. "I told them the truth," Bella said without turning. Zara joined her at the railing. "I know. The board is deliberating." They stood in silence, the wind whipping their coats. Bella spoke first. "I don't regret loving you. I regret letting it cost me everything." Zara's hand found Bella's on the cold metal. It doesn't have to cost everything. We can still win. Bella pulled away. Winning your way means I lose myself. She left Zara alone with the skyline and the weight of her choices. The board's decision came at dawn via email. Zara retained the position, but with strict conditions, quarterly reviews and mandatory sensitivity training for the department. Bella received a formal warning and a transfer to a satellite clinic 30 miles away. The email ended with a reminder: personal relationships must remain outside hospital walls. Zara read it twice, then drove to the satellite clinic before her shift. She found Bella packing her locker. "This isn't permanent," Zara said. Bella closed the locker with a soft click. "It feels permanent. You kept the title. I kept my integrity." The drive back to St. Mary's felt longer than 30 miles. Zara arrived to a department buzzing with the news. Residents congratulated her cautiously. The chief resident asked about new protocols, but the question felt loaded. Zara implemented changes immediately, streamlining trauma response times. Numbers improved, but morale dipped. Staff missed Bella's warmth. Weeks turned into months. Zara's research grant came through the new wing, groundbreaking scheduled. She worked 18-hour days, filling the emptiness with data and decisions. Bella thrived at the satellite clinic. Her patient satisfaction scores the highest in the network. They exchanged occasional professional emails, but nothing more. The love that had once burned bright now smoldered in separate cities. Then the satellite clinic faced closure due to budget cuts. Bella's position was at risk. She emailed Zara asking for a reference, a formal request, nothing personal. Zara stared at the screen for an hour. Writing the reference would help Bella, but it would also remind the board of their history. Not writing it would protect her own position, but doom Bella's career. The scalpel hovered again. Zara wrote the reference, the strongest she had ever composed. She sent it with a single additional line in the personal note field. "You were always the better doctor. I was just better at surviving." Bella never replied. The groundbreaking ceremony for the new research wing drew city officials, donors, and every department head. Zara stood at the podium in a tailored black coat, the wind tugging at her dark hair as she cut the ribbon. Cameras flashed. Applause echoed. She delivered a speech about innovation and saving lives, her voice strong. But her eyes scanned the crowd for one face. Bella was not there. Later in her office, Zara received a call from the satellite clinic director. "Dr. Ramirez has been offered a position at Johns Hopkins. She's leaving next month." The words landed like a diagnosis. Zara thanked the director, hung up, and sat motionless. The promotion, the wing, the grants all felt suddenly meaningless. She had won every battle but lost the war that mattered. That night she drove to the satellite clinic, arriving just as Bella finished her shift. The parking lot was nearly empty. Zara stepped out of her car. "Johns Hopkins. That's a good move." Bella adjusted her bag. "It is. No history. No rumors. Just medicine." Zara took a step closer. "I wrote the reference." Bella nodded. "I know. Thank you." The silence stretched. "I miss you," Zara said, finally, the words raw. Bella's eyes softened for the first time in months. "I miss us. But I can't keep paying the price for your ambition." Zara reached for her hand, stopping short. "What if I stepped down? What if I followed you?" Bella laughed softly, sad. "You wouldn't. And I wouldn't ask you to. This is who you are, Zara. The woman who chooses the scalpel over the heart every time." They stood in the cold air, the city lights distant. Bella turned to leave, then paused. The night shift wasn't the beginning of the end. It was the moment we finally saw each other clearly. She walked to her car and drove away. Zara remained until the taillights disappeared. Back at St. Mary's, the department moved on. New residents, new protocols. Zara's leadership produced results, but the whispers evolved into quiet respect mixed with pity. She mentored fiercely, but kept everyone at arm's length. Late nights in the office, she reviewed old charts, the ones from the fateful night shift. The patient they had saved together still sent thank you cards. Zara kept them in a drawer. Bella's departure date approached. Zara attended the small farewell gathering at the satellite clinic, standing at the back. Colleagues toasted Bella's compassion, her skill. When Bella spoke, she thanked the team, her voice steady. Her eyes found Zara's for one brief moment. No words passed, but the message was clear: goodbye. The next morning Bella's office stood empty. Zara walked through it, once touching the desk where Bella had once left notes. Then she returned to her corner office and closed the door. The promotion felt like a cage now. She had protected her career at the cost of everything else. Months passed. Zara's research flourished: publications, citations, speaking engagements. She dated no one. The hospital board praised her dedication. But in quiet moments she replayed the choices, the cold calculations, the night shift embrace that had started it all. Then came the letter. Johns Hopkins inviting Zara to speak at a conference, Bella's name listed as co-panelist. The invitation included a personal note from Bella. "Come if you want. No pressure. Just medicine." Zara stared at the paper for days. Accepting meant facing her. Declining meant closing the door forever. She booked the flight. The conference hall in Baltimore buzzed with energy. Zara stood backstage adjusting her notes, her dark hair swept into a professional knot. Across the room Bella waited in a simple navy dress, her blonde hair loose the way Zara remembered from stolen nights. They had not spoken since the farewell. When their panel began, the moderator introduced them as two leaders reshaping trauma care. The audience applauded. Zara presented first, her data sharp, her vision expansive. Bella followed, weaving patient stories with research, the balance perfect. Their presentations complemented each other naturally, the old rhythm returning in front of strangers. During Q&A a question came. How do you handle personal relationships in high-pressure environments? The room quieted. Zara's pulse spiked. Bella answered first. With honesty and boundaries. Love doesn't weaken medicine, it reminds us why we fight. Zara added, and sometimes the hardest decision is choosing what to protect. After the panel they stood in the hallway. You came, Bella said. Zara nodded. I had to. They walked outside to a quiet bench overlooking the harbor. The wind carried the scent of salt. Bella spoke first. Johns Hopkins offered me a permanent position. I accepted. Zara absorbed the news. Congratulations. You deserve it. Bella turned to face her. What about you? Still climbing? Zara smiled faintly. The climb feels different now. Lonelier. They sat in silence watching the water. Bella reached out, taking Zara's hand, the touch familiar and electric. I never stopped loving you. I just stopped letting it destroy me. Zara squeezed her hand. I stopped everything else the moment you left. The confession hung between them, years of ambition and regret. Zara continued. I stepped down from the head position last month. I'm focusing on research now. No more politics. Bella's eyes widened. Why? Zara shrugged. Because winning the title cost me the only thing that ever mattered. They talked for hours, catching up on cases, laughing at old memories. As night fell, Bella stood. I have an early flight. But maybe next conference we share a panel again. Zara rose with her. I'd like that. No pressure. They hugged, the embrace different now, healed. Bella whispered, take care of yourself. Then she walked away into the city lights. Zara watched her go, the harbor breeze cool on her face. The promotion, the hospital, the years of calculation all felt distant. She had lost Bella once to ambition. This time she had chosen differently. Whether love could return remained uncertain, but for the first time the choice felt right. True or false? In the cutthroat world of medicine, ambition always triumphs over love.